Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another BodySlam.net exclusive interview. I am Cassie Haynes, owner, founder, jack of all trades, writer, news guy, interviewer, podcaster, whatever at BodySlam. I do a lot of bullshit. I am here today with a good friend of mine, ring announcer, executive producer for Catalyst Wrestling, Brendan Sokler. Brendan, how's it going, buddy?
It's going real fucking good, Cass. It's good to see you.
Did you like that intro into my little big thumb bows?
Oh, I loved it. I was trying not to interrupt by being like, and beard aficionado, figure collector.
The beard technically won an award this year, last year actually, for the I think it was SP3's True Heel Heat podcast. Did you see that?
Oh damn!
Best beard.
Oh,
beat
look
out
at
Dutch
you.
Mantel. Beat out Dirty
What?
Dutch Mantel for best beard. Yeah.
My God.
Add that to the resume.
Yeah, no, seriously. Does that go under job title or special skills, or where does that look?
Yes, the answer is yes. Both.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shaved my winter beard off after having gone to Minnesota and then Miami, and it was just getting scraggly. It's like,
And
you know what? I want to look like a fetus. Let's just. Oh yeah, no, it's supposed to be snowing. I haven't seen a flake today, and I consider that rude.
Huh. I know that people were snowed in New Jersey, so I figure you'd be seeing some snow today too.
Well, you know, the world loves New York more than New Jersey. I'm kidding. I'm just trying to.
Dude, I woke up to like 3 or 4 inches of snow today in North Carolina. I was like, what the shit is this? It was 71 degrees yesterday.
I honestly would have loved snow. I feel like there is no point to cold unless it is snowing.
Yeah, man, it was pretty wild. Literally the day before it was 71 degrees, and then woke up to snow with like 27 this morning. I was like, this is winter North Carolina. It's fun.
Yep.
It's fun.
It sounds like a reverse of my Christmas travel trajectory, because I went Minnesota to Miami. That sounds like Miami to Minnesota in terms of weather.
That's right. See, I haven't seen you. I haven't talked to you since you went down to Florida. So that was fun. You had a good holiday.
Holidays were great. A little bit exhausting. I've been road dogging it, and not in the BG James sense, for the month. Maybe like 7 nights in my bed recently, brother, just working the road.
Yeah.
Because I had some business out in LA, which was great, and LA is really nice weather if we're talking about weather. But you know,
they don't know bad weather out there. It rains once a year and they freak out.
Yeah, it's 50 degrees. I have to go get my sweater.
It's so cold. Get your jacket.
But you know, it was really nice, and like I'm doing all sorts of stuff in both those states, which has been really cool and exciting. More so to do with like my film production career that I have and acting career.
Punching Up Productions, right?
Yeah, I run. Thank you for the pluggerooski. www.punchingupproductions.com. Yeah, we're an award-winning production company that does podcasts, comic books, short films, long films. We're working on a pro wrestling documentary. We may have some pro wrestling podcasts in the works that you'll be hearing about soon, hopefully. Yes. But we're doing all sorts of cool stuff, and we also just won an award from the Catalyst Content Festival, which is in Minnesota, in Duluth. It's like one of the biggest short form content festivals in the world, and it's utterly confusing because it's my home festival, and then the wrestling company that I've become an executive producer on and ring announce for is Catalyst Wrestling. No one's confused in my life about it. It's fine.
Yeah, every time you mentioned one, like which one are we talking about? Are we talking about this one or this one?
Yeah. But yeah, man, holidays were great. How were your holidays?
Uneventful. I didn't do anything here. I was supposed to go see my grandparents for Christmas, or my grandma and my family for Christmas. But I got sick and my stomach kind of flared up, so I didn't do anything. I sat on the couch, watched TV. That was about it. Same thing I did for New Year's. I watched GCW on my couch for New Year's and did a podcast afterwards and did the same thing on New Year's Day. So yeah, no, I didn't do anything for the holidays, man. I took it easy. That's amateur night going out on New Year's. That's all that is.
Oh yeah, no, like come on,
dude. Real seasoned vets don't go out on St. Patrick's Day or New Year's Eve. I don't care what anybody says. That's fucking amateur night. That's
jabroni shit right there.
Yeah, dude.
No, like if you're going out on New Year's Eve, listen, you can go to a party. Go to a party. That's fine. Or at least in the construct of a non-COVID-y world, or where Omicron isn't surging in New York, maybe go do that New Year's Eve. I don't get the people that went to the ball drop, but like if you are going just to a bar, just on a whim for either St. Patrick's Day or that, tut kids, do better.
So, yeah, no, I vetoed those plans when my friend suggested. I was like, we can sit here and watch this GCW show, and
so much better.
Well, for me, the ladies left after 10 minutes, but whatever. Like, they're lost, right?
The moment the light tube started coming out.
One of my friends passed out, and when she woke up, she was just like, what the fuck? And it was just bloodbath. And I was like, yeah, you woke up at a good time. She's like, I think I'm going to go home. I was like, all right, well, Happy New Year.
Yeah, I like the idea of someone just waking up and being like,
what the fuck are you watching? Yeah,
like I slept. What is an Atticus Kogar?
Is he chewing glass? I was like, yes, he is. He's chewing glass, but whatever. No, but that's... I mean, shit, I think I'll see you in a couple weeks at GCW, right?
Probably. Like, I'm super excited for the shows. I didn't get to watch the New Year's ones yet, but I spoke to my friend Chris about it and Giancarlo, who are both involved.
He did very well on commentary.
I heard as much. And yeah, I mean, like, they're doing really fantastic work. Like, I really do love and respect the stuff that GCW is up to these days. And props to Giancarlo also for all the visual aspects and the videos and the hype packages that are coming in, and just like the visual vocabulary of it. It's expanding at such a crazy rate. And they got something really special going on there. And like, that's also part of the foundation of our friendship, Cass. I mean, just to give everyone the Iggy is just like going to those GCW shows.
Yeah.
Utterly fantastic.
And let's not forget our AEW All Out.
Hell yeah.
Experiences and fun. And Revolution.
Revolution
was... That was the one.
That was the one. That was the friendship maker there.
So, so there's... Speaking of which, are you coming back down to Florida for Revolution in a couple weeks?
I don't think so, just because, again, I've been doing some crazy stuff. And then when is Revolution? I mean,
the 6th.
Okay.
March 6th.
Fuck it. I'm going to put it in the maybe bucket.
Well, also, just to like a little bit of seasoning on that thought, my birthday's March 9th.
Oh, okay.
And GCW Atlanta is March 12th.
You give me an arm wringer? You twisted my arm on
So
this
there's like 2 good weekends of fun I'm going to have there. I'm going to be in Atlanta for GCW's Center Stage, debuting in Georgia, in Atlanta, and then I'll be at Revolution.
I will not commit to something on air.
Hold on, my blind dog just ran into the door. We'll fix that.
What are your dog's names?
The blind one's named Cinnamon, because she was a slutty little girl. So we gave her a stripper name. Yeah. She just wants attention, and she just hosed it up with everybody. So we gave her a stripper name. And then the other one is Hero. He's a American Shih Tzu. So he's just a big fur ball. But yeah, I think somebody came in the house, so they were all excited because somebody showed up. So I apologize. But we'll carry forth. We got off topic. We talked about nobody cares about how good of friends we are. Let's let everybody.
They can get out if they don't care about friendship.
Yeah, right. We don't need those type of viewers.
Yeah,
people that hate friendship aren't who we're here to talk or who we're here to entertain anyway. But no, let's talk more about your stuff, man. Nobody don't need to bore everybody with how good of time we have when we hang out. Let's talk about
it's the best, and you're welcome,
dude. We have a good time. It is fun. That is something that can't be said about me also, but every time I'm with you, we have a fantastically long night and fun time.
I'll use that to segue into a thing, which is like talking about GCW, AEW, our friendship. They all tie into a very similar thing, which is there's a community within wrestling. And also there's stuff happening within professional wrestling right now that is beyond just people putting on shows. And those two companies specifically are doing the type of work that is more than just a wrestling show. And that's what we're looking to do with Catalyst Wrestling now. I got involved during the pandemic. They were down a ring announcer, and I've been performing on off-Broadway and off-Broadway and on film for most of my life at this point. The tipping point happened at 33. So it's something where I talked to Matt Ryan, who I had done interviews with a good while back, and was just a buddy, and reached out to him and said, hey man, do you need a ring announcer with like 10,000 hours of stage time. I think I could do it. And through the process of this, I just learned a lot about what it takes to be running a wrestling show specifically, because I had also been running sets and making plays.
Familiar with production.
Familiar with production with like a lot of transferable skills, but it's very much a different world. And it's a world that I love and appreciate. I did not come to acting through normal means. I came to be an off-Broadway Shakespeare actor because I saw Chris Jericho and The Rock cut promos in the ring and took a theater class. Because I was like, I got to be able to talk like those motherfuckers if I'm ever going to make it in wrestling world. And then I grew to be 5'8" after yoga. And it was just like, I don't think this is going to happen for me. So, and I'd already gotten bit with the acting bug and really enjoyed it. But like my love of pro wrestling never left. And as the shows went on and whatnot, and I've been doing multiple projects in a bunch of different fields, because again, Punching Up, we do so much different stuff, and it's all based on what I'm kind of interested in. So it was something where I just wanted to help out more and more, and I got welcomed in by the ownership to do so and to help build it out, using my film connections and theater connections to try to do something different with it, because I don't think there's much of a point of just putting on good matches for the sake of good matches or a show for the sake of a show when there's that much content out there. Like, this is something that I've talked about a lot just in terms of the pandemic, and everyone kind of became an independent content creator. Everyone started doing their podcasts or baking bread or like creating their own web series or something like that.
Shout out to Kojima bread.
Yep. Fucking love his bread posts.
He had one today. He was hyping Wrestle Kingdom. He's like, make sure to watch us wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom and eat bread while doing so. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do tonight.
What a gent. I've been a fan of him since 2003 MLW. But digressing, any hoozle. Going back to it, it was something where, like, with everyone making that, Vince has a old phrase that he likes to use a lot, where it's like, oh no, other people are competition, other wrestling companies are competition, it's everything. Sleep is competition.
Yeah, that's his only competition, he says, is sleep. Because if you're he competes with if your eyes are open or whatever, you should be watching his competition or his work. So yeah, that's his thing.
And for me, I'm like, we need to be putting out something really cool and really different. So we've instituted a whole bunch of cool stuff for the show. We're coming back to New York, and in a big way. We're going to be at the Muse in Brooklyn, which is a circus venue that I did a production of Midsummer Night's Dream in like 2011, where the fairies were aerialists and would like drop down from the ceiling in elaborate, crazy ways. Like,
so the inside of the building, is what's it look like? Is it's going to be something? It's going to be a different visual, is what you're saying, because
it's going to be a different visual.
So
this is not.
There a lot of
I mean, there's a lot of. I'll speak to that. There's a bunch of pro wrestling venues that get used now that are like VFW halls or churches or gymnasiums and we've used them, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They're great, and thank God they love pro wrestling the way they do. But this is more of a theatrical space, because that's the background that I come from. There are lights that are already built in and movable and things like that, and incredibly high ceilings, because you have people regularly dropping on aerial silks from like 30 feet up. I'm not saying that we're necessarily going to have aerial silks at this thing, but we do have the room for it. We have the room for it, and the possibility of that going forward. We have the NWA champ and the Ring of Honor Pure champ coming in, which I'm wildly excited about. It's the first time the NWA champ has been in Brooklyn in, I want to say, about 50 years, and the first time in New York in at least 4. And then Josh Woods, what a beast. And like, dude, I grew up on Ring of Honor. Having the Pure title there, so freaking cool. And the NWA title there, so freaking cool. Because another weird thing that probably got me into wrestling cast is, like, back in the day, my dad was one of Turner's lawyers, and I was a WCW kid through and through. And by extension,
you see all my WCW toys on my wall.
Hell yeah. Because it was amazing. And there was also guys more my size doing cool and innovative stuff. But it was also something where, like, my dad fucking hated wrestling, and he'll be the first to admit it. And he'd go to these things called cable conventions, which are basically like upfronts where the networks sell ads to like people that need ads, or ad space to the people who want to be selling them ads. And I'd be like, Dad, did you get to see any WCW wrestlers there? He's like, yeah, buddy. What? Did you see Sting? Yeah. Did you see Chris Jericho? Yeah. What did they say? They said pro wrestling's fake and you shouldn't watch it. I was like, why would they say that? Oh my God. And it was like way too late years old to realize that he had bullshitted me. But honestly, it put a chip on my shoulder about this, particularly as a person who does like a whole bunch of different art, that I'm like, pro wrestling is, in my opinion, the greatest fucking art form that does not really get the credit it deserves, because it's a mashup of everything. It's a live action stunt show with superheroes fighting, theater in the round performed for a live audience, as well as taped for television. It's
like a comic book come to life, man. Which ties into your comic book production stuff that you were talking about too. So I mean, it's all connected in some way.
There's a reason I'm marked out for this. It's tailor made. But
don't even get me into my comic book section. That's on the other side. And my cousin used to draw comic books when I was a kid. He drew the Punisher. So when I was a kid in the 90s, he drew the Warzone series. He drew for that. He used to draw for Alpha Flight. He drew Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. So like I grew up like getting just
Warzone, the Warren Ellis run. Or are we talking about?
No, his Hugh Haynes. It was the Warzone, the War Journal, Punisher War Journal, Warzone, or whatever it was. Like early 90s, like 91, 2, 3, like that area. I don't remember exactly. I've got him over there. I'll show them to you later. But it's the same one they ended up making that second movie about, like when it was Ray Stevens, or Stevenson or whatever, being Punisher instead of him as that one. So
that was pretty badass. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was that comics arc from that time period. So so I grew up in it, man. So I agreed. Like that's kind of what drew me into it as well. As I liked comics, and wrestlers are pretty much just like comic book heroes on your TV come to life, fighting out the fight scenes that you read in the comics. So
entirely. And I have been in a lot of locker rooms like over the past couple of years. I mean, we've talked about it a decent bit. I've been working on a documentary through my production company that we shot during the week of WrestleMania here in New York, and we put it on pause because of COVID. We had to deal with some speaking out things and probably dropping a couple folks from it. And also the end of the story was kind of up in the air. I thought in 2019, pro wrestling on an independent level was going to take a hit, or was not going to be the same, or would possibly die due to contract wars. With the advent of AEW,
changing. AEW was now a place, and WWE was buying up as much independent talent as they could. See, I've seen some videos of your documentary, and that's one of the first things that we discussed when I met you. Yeah. So like I've seen where you're at. Now I've seen some of the stuff that you had to from it that you were talking about too, because of that. So I get it.
It's wild, but to say, I say this as to bring up the point that like the Catalyst Wrestling locker room is strong and great. Homicide, Colby Carino, Steve Gibkey, the new champ Darius Carter, legends like Ghost Shadow, who have been around forever and maybe not even gotten the credit they fucking deserve for being the innovators that they are. Like we have a really strong locker room, and right now, other than House of Glory, who is coming back, we don't really have that many New York-based promotions, and particularly within the COVID of this all. Like a lot of stuff hasn't been able to run, or stuff is closed. We filmed so much with Evolve, and those guys were really great. Like the whole WWN crew was really great to us in terms of working on the documentary, but major organizations that brought a wrestling presence to New York folded. And now we are in a position, WWN didn't fold, but Evolve, which was the regular mainstay here in New York, did get bought up by WWE. I want to fill that spot. I want us to be doing something different and something in New York and something uniquely New York. And we're a fucking theater town. So there are elements that I'm trying to steal from my worlds that we're bringing in. And, it's really something when you have people in leadership positions that are willing to fuck around and find out. And Matt, Lee, Jesse, the guys who've been running this and working doggedly at it, are curious and fun individuals to be working with. They want to be doing stuff and doing shit that's new. So when I bring in someone like a Zach Zamchik, who is an immersive theatrical producer and a fucking genius at it, who worked on Beat the Bomb and Queen of the Night, and most recently Midsummer: A Shakespeareance, which was like a vaudeville variety immersive thing that happened in New York City. Like, we get to do some different stuff, and we get to run the Muse. We get to be in New York, and we get to bring in some really cool people. And the other aspect of that that's coming in is, like, I met a guy named Tom at Catalyst Content Festival, again, not to be confused with Catalyst Wrestling, who works with an app called Rizzle, which is like TikTok in that it is an app for your phone that you shoot vertically and make videos for. Difference being that it's not you hitting a 6 million subscriber threshold or whatever the fuck it is for TikTok before you get monetized. They pay creators to be making stuff, which is really cool and different. And Rizzle is sponsoring this show, and we've created a whole bunch of content for that platform. And by the time this comes out, we'll have announced that Chris Dickinson is coming in, and he's going to be doing a signing to be raising money for his medical expenses, which should be pretty cool. And we're doing that as a Rizzle exclusive, and it's also gotten us a ton of views. Cass, we've been on that platform for a month, and over the course of the day, we've gone from like 300,000 views to about 600,000 views of our video content, and with truly incredible support from Rizzle and their team. So big shout out to Tom Woodley. I love you. Thank you. But we're trying to do some new and different stuff, and hopefully make a really great experience for the fans.
What's up? I think we were talking about this last night. Now, Rizzle's big in like India, you were saying, right?
Yeah, I believe part
because
of it
TikTok's
is
not allowed in India, if I read correctly on the internet, right? Isn't it banned or something?
I wouldn't be shocked.
I think I saw that it's banned in India, so there's all these alternatives. And that's the thing, is like in India, which is like there's so many people, they're vying for all these like TikTok alternatives because they see that that's like such a big wave. But yet, I think for whatever reason,
there is a technological quagmire that happens once you start getting over into certain countries east of us, where there's censorship things, there's tech things. TikTok, I believe, has like phishing stuff that gathers your information. I mean, like most apps do.
Like most do, yeah. But yeah, I think that's the reason why it's not allowed. I was just doing a little research last night on this when we were talking, because I was looking at all the top 10 of alternatives for TikTok in India, and I was trying to see which one you were talking about and see if it was on the list. And then I was just reading more about it. But yeah, it's interesting to me that
it's a real cool app,
untapped. It's kind of an untapped resource because, you know, I mean, everybody's all big on TikTok, but yet that's not a thing there. And there's so many people that's a market for. That's such a huge thing they love.
I mean, you've seen WWE really wants to be doing stuff within India, and from what I understand, like other countries in the area, such as Malaysia, which I believe is fairly close, but also I'm not looking at a map, and I'm an American, so I suck at these things. But
geography is not our strength.
Like there are, and China and obviously Japan already has a wrestling presence, but there are a ton of wrestling fans out there without necessarily the ability to see a local show. So to see clipped versions of a show or Rizzle exclusive content or stuff like that, you're getting a whole new lane that you might not be exposed to otherwise, which I think is really cool. And obviously it's a little sexy and fun to be like, yeah, we're big in India, or oh yeah, we're doing really great in Mexico or Venezuela. But it does allow us to have an international presence, which is fun and exciting, particularly as we're trying to make a version of the brand that is uniquely New York and built out on what we have, because we have an insanely good roster. We have, before I even came into there, a whole bunch of people that have worked in the entertainment industry, comedy industries. Zach Amico, one of our managers, the manager of Hudson County Horror Show, is like a highly established comedian, like dude's a beast and is in a whole bunch of trauma movies, and also legitimately scares the shit out of me when he's in character.
Yeah.
Like, terrifying.
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
we can pull up a picture of his gimmick at some point, because again, I would like to scare your listeners as much as humanly possible. But you know, like when you're coming into a thing and it's already established and it's got such good stuff going on, what I have done since coming in is just try to bring what I have and accentuate what they're doing, because they have done such a good job over the years creating like a really viable, kick-ass television product.
And they've been around for a while, but they rebranded, correct? Because they were Capital Wrestling, right?
Yes. Yeah. New ownership, moving around a bunch of stuff, and with just new goals. So the rebrand is something that, like, if you're rebranding, you also want to develop a different identity to what you were doing previously. So while we've been putting out great content for many, many years, what we're looking to do now is just really shifting the presentation, make it more accessible, because also there's parts of New Jersey where we've run that, like, you just don't have train access, and we want to make it super accessible for fans, because like an entire pandemic with limited ability to go see wrestling has sucked. Like, I think we all can agree on that. Yeah. And you and I have managed to see more wrestling than most, I'd say.
I definitely would say that, yeah.
But we want to bring it to your front door. And New York has such a rich history of professional wrestling that there should be stuff that is intrinsically linked in that identity that is running here. And also, I mean, there are other independent promotions that are running here, and this is not me trying to be a slight to them even. Entirely what I'm just saying is, like, you know, there's a lot of traveling brands that move around and haven't been able to revisit here. I'm good friends with a lot of people in Impact from doing the documentary, and I'm salty that they haven't come back, because I'd like to see my friends. But
right. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people in New York. There's plenty of room for multiple. You know, there's a lot of people to please. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
There's no reason why there shouldn't be multiple promotions running in the New York area and the market, because it's just so big. It's such a huge market.
There's room for all of us. A. B. If my theory is right that pro wrestling is tapas, like, if you don't like it, you haven't had the right dish. You need to have a fucking variety of dishes out. So, you know, we're trying to make our new lane. We love pro wrestling all around. I mean, if I didn't, I would like just be like, Cass, let's not talk about GCW and not say what fun times we've had.
Obviously, AEW. I know you love wrestling, because I mean, that's how we become friends, is just bouncing around all these shows over the country that we run into each other at random, on accident sometimes, other times planned out. So yeah,
it's worked out swimmingly. But yeah, it is something where, like, you know, we want to be building that out and just be building up a fan base who wants to come see something different, and also, you know, encourage everyone to go see more wrestling in the city, because New York wrestling's the best. Personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves the wrestling where they're from. I would say North Carolina wrestling's the best, but what do I know?
Okay, big disagreement. I'm gonna fuck off right now.
No, I don't know. We only have one. I only know one. There's only like a couple of good promotions in my area, and they're not even in my area. It's like 3 hours away. See, then that's something like New York. Everything's easily accessible. Like, for me to find good wrestling, I have to travel 3 hours from my house.
Well, I really gotta like put in the Googly Maps how far Colby Carino's promotion that he works for in the Carolinas is from you.
Way on the flat. It's like 4+. It's like he's towards the East Coast, man. I'm about as far west in North Carolina as you can get. I am 20 miles from the Tennessee border. So
he's an absolute gem who I am.
He lives in Lumberton, or no, like Chalette, or somewhere down near Wilmington. Yeah. So he's like literally in Wilmington, like the coast.
But let me just say, Cass, also, when he lost that title, something shifted in him. He joined up with the former Hot Boys International, Bobby Orlando, Wrecking Ball Legursky, that whole crew. I was shocked, honestly, and you can see it. Go check out the Catalyst Wrestling episodes that are up right now. And I was lost as to who this person, who had been established to me as just an honorable human being, a hell of a champion, a fighting champion. He gets questionable
He
fall.
chopped me up as your champion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you may or may not have been the guy filming that.
I may or may not have been. But you know, it is a really interesting thing to see this Colby Carino with this mean streak, with this chip on his shoulder, teaming with an absolute behemoth and wrecking machine, and in my opinion, probably the most underrated big man in the game in Wrecking Ball Legursky.
He's good. He really is.
The dude can go. Facing Homicide, New York legend. Like when I ring announce for him, I say he is New York wrestling, and he is teaming
that's
up.
a name I said when I hear if I had to put people in New York wrestling, he's one of the easily probably the first name I would
His
come up with,
Godfather.
other than like. Then I'd probably throw Amazing Red into that up there because he's New York wrestling.
Yeah,
and there's some other guys, Santana.
But
Ortiz.
like Santana, Ortiz, Eddie Kingston, Loki, none of this shit happens without Homicide, which is why is New York wrestling. And teaming with Trevor Murdoch, NWA champion, has so come into his own as like a fully fleshed out, crazily talented performer with like grit for days. It is going to be
an interesting combination too.
Yeah, it's going to be a banger of a main. Like, in terms of personalities, like Homicide and Trevor Murdoch is not necessarily a team that you think of initially.
I would. If anybody says, "Oh yeah, that's a team I've been wanting forever," I'm gonna say, "Dude, you never. Those never crossed."
You didn't call that. Fuck you.
Never.
How dare you?
Anybody that says they've been waiting for that pairing is full of shit. Just trying to like, clout. But no, there's that's insane. But to me, I saw that and I was like, wait, that's something I really want to see. And it's just like I said, it's because they're so contrasting personalities, but yet they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna be really do some really good shit in the ring. So
yeah, it's going to be a hell of a main event. And then also, we have Darius Carter just won the title off Colby, as I was saying.
I was gonna say, Colby, anything Colby's in is just money, even though you might not be agreeing with his antics and new change of ways.
It's on my shenanigans list.
I'll never not. I love heel stuff. I'm more about it now. I'm like, good.
Listen, you can be all about heel stuff until you're in the ring with them. Then it's a little scary. Like, and another good segue to Darius, like being in the ring with him before that challenge, like he got up in my shit. And it's terrifying because he has the prowess technically of a William Regal and is slept on like a William Regal. But I don't think that lasts for long when he is the champ and is facing someone of the caliber of a Josh Woods. Like this is a proving point match for him because Ring of Honor's pure title has such a legacy. Punk, Danielson, AJ Styles, depending on which lineage we're talking about. Like you have McGuinness. Like it is a championship of the wrestler's wrestler. And Josh Woods is nothing to fuck with, but Darius will. And that is that classic immovable force meets the unstoppable object. I fucked that up, but you know what I'm saying.
We've done a couple interviews with Josh Woods over the last few weeks, and I'm pretty sure he mentioned that match coming up in at least one of them. I think maybe both, but yeah, he talked about that. So no, we've been looking forward to that. That's something we've been following here at the site because I think Josh did 2 different podcasts for us. So. Yeah, man. It's going to be good. On paper, the card looks great. There was other matches you mentioned to me too that you ran through.
Go Shadow versus Matt Mikowski for the Freestyle Championship.
I love Matt. Matt's awesome. I got to see him in person for the first time. We were at Fight Club weekend.
Oh,
so him wrestling. That was the first time I'd ever actually seen him like physically in person wrestle.
First time I saw him wrestle in person was one of the first times I got to ring announce for Catalyst, and a more complete athlete there really isn't to be had. Like, dude's amazing. He has fought within mixed martial arts. His chain wrestling is unbelievable. His strikes are crazy. And Go Shadow has been on a tear. He has held that freestyle championship for a minute now. And, I was saying it earlier, like, dude is an innovator. Like, we all remember and we'll talk regularly about like when the SAT did this to start something out, or when Red did that, or when Canyon did a thing, or Tommy Dreamer. Go Shadow is as much of an innovator as anyone on the fucking planet in terms of pro wrestling. And he is so good. He is so slick. He is so smooth. His manager, Noel, he literally comes out to the moniker, the man that no one loved. Like, what a great heel thing, but also I don't love him, frankly.
Yeah. Well, it's fitting then. It's fitting.
Yeah.
But no, we were talking now. Your stuff's on. Is it still on Vimeo?
I mean, so we have been airing on multiple platforms: Tubi, Vudu, obviously YouTube, and putting our stuff up on Rizzle. But we also have been doing an iPay-per-view model of this. So we do a full set of tapings, zhuzh it up, and release it as an iPay-per-view. So if you want to see it before anyone else, go for it and check out catalystwrestling.com. We'll be promoting that whenever it gets released after each set of these tapings. And then we have like 8 or 9 weeks of television that come out of each one of these. So if you're coming to the show,
you said
prepare to be on TV.
Now. You're on the Tubi app, you said, right?
Yeah.
Did you say that? Is it just like is there a whole section just for you? Because I'm not familiar with the app. I've never actually checked it out, so I was curious. But I was have to download it and look and see what's up with that, because I know that like on Pluto, there's like a whole channel for like Impact or something like that. But is this more like an on-demand thing, or is it like you're aired on like one of their stations that they have on Tubi, or how does it work exactly?
They are an OTT platform, meaning over the top, like Netflix, Hulu, stuff like that, where they aggregate a bunch of content and are free, is my understanding of Tubi.
It is. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if it was like categorized or if it was like
so you can search for shit like that and it'll pop up. It's not necessarily this is the Catalyst Wrestling channel or something like that, or they have a wrestling section, but they do have our content there. But I'd also want to double check this later. And that's
the thing is there's a lot of wrestling content out there to get, but a lot of people don't know how to find it, and it's not there.
Well, that's one of my big issues with it.
I'm gonna have to download the app and check it out and see what else is there. That I don't.
Please do. But a thing that I'll say, man, particularly coming from entertainment, television world, where like we're making a whole bunch of stuff, I have an issue with the fact that like pro wrestling should be on Hulu or Netflix or something like that. And, God bless all these OTT platforms that are letting us on their networks and promoting us and stuff like that. But I think pro wrestling should be everywhere, because like
I'm honestly surprised that Netflix, other than their like little dip with Lucha Underground, has not really done more with like a wrestling
right. And
somehow running their series like as a weekly basis, or like whatever.
It would be a real interesting thing, and if any Netflix executives want to get at me, my handle's right there.
It's odd, because I'm pretty sure that their whole model is based on like, as long as we can keep churning out original content, that's the thing. They don't really care. It's a numbers thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So as long as it's like more original, the better. So that's weekly, consistently like something new that they would just have an unlimited run at. And I just don't understand why they haven't done that. That's been one that I've wanted.
Let me speak to that real quick, Cass. So like something really interesting that is really kind of funny that WWE Network got before a whole slew of these other OTTs is live content, and being part of the conversation and part of the zeitgeist tends to trend better, track better, and get more views than just buying up a whole bunch of content. Like, people want to be part of a conversation and feeling something. Like, we don't necessarily have water cooler conversations anymore. Yeah. We do have Twitter conversations, and we do post, oh my God, the Queen's Gambit. I never knew I could be sexually attracted to chess. Like, people want to be talking about this sort of stuff. And WWE figured that out because they had bought up so much IP, but it was the pay-per-views and things that aired live. Then you have Hulu putting in sports packages and stuff like that, and Netflix also doing some stuff where they're releasing on a weekly model, because they realized, while we drop this great show and drop it in its totality, and they still do that, but some of their shows they release longer because then they can keep the conversation going longer. But also they do want you binge watching and whatnot, and are experimenting regularly with what forms they're doing stuff in. They're also doing stuff in an audio space now, like doing podcasts and stuff of that nature. So, you're going to have a lot of these platforms, in my opinion, keep expanding, keep trying to futz with stuff. And in my opinion, it's only a matter of time before pro wrestling is one of those things, as it should be. It has an incredible audience. So get on it, gang. And again, my
or
handle
Amazon
is down
Prime is
here.
another one too, because Amazon Prime runs football, basketball, they baseball. They have live events on that, so there's another option there too. And
I wouldn't mind taking a call from Prime. I guess that would be okay.
They're one you can consider. I'm just saying, if they call you up, maybe listen. Maybe just listen.
I'll look at my phone and like I'll let it ring a few times, but I'll answer.
Yeah, don't seem desperate.
No.
I'm
not a first ring man.
God, no, come on. We learned that in high school, everybody.
Oh, Lordy.
Well, what else we got, man? Let's see. What else we got going on?
Yeah.
We talked about all your stuff. Do you want to talk more about your documentary? Did you pretty much feel you covered that since you haven't really finished it, or what do you think?
I mean, so, it is an interesting process because right now we're in edit for it just to see what we have. We did some pickup interviews at a GCW show, which was really lovely. Hey, Kat.
Yeah, Tyson. He came to say hello.
Hell yeah.
Usually buttholes the screen, so you got lucky there that I stopped that.
Oh, good. Is that Tyson Kidd E?
He was from the streets, so he's a street tough. So he's named.
Appreciate my pun, you son of a bitch. We have fun here.
Who's the word street tough? That's a Seinfeld reference too.
Yeah,
There's a bunch
I
of
do appreciate
toughs.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. But yeah, man, like it was a thing where we captured all this stuff, and then the pandemic happened. Companies ended up getting bought up. Some of them stopped running for like indefinite periods of time, and wrestling also reckoned with a whole bunch of stuff about its identity. And we now have a third act that needs to be shot for it. It's called the Declaration of Independent Wrestling. We worked with MLW, Impact, pretty much any company that was at the WWN shows. We did that with, and we're still looking to expand out and get a more holistic view of what pro wrestling is and can be. But I'll be back on here when we're in the releasing stage of it. But if you see me around and you see me with a massive camera crew at a random show that is not a Catalyst Wrestling show, it's probably that, I'd say.
Yeah, and I, as someone who's seen it, I'm really into what you got there. It looks great. I'm really interested in it. I think it looks wonderfully well done too. Everything I've seen from what you've shown me is just incredible. So,
well, our director is a big part of that. Fucking Dominic Savilli is one of the great cinematographers in New York. Also a hell of a director and a wrestling fan, and he's very much involved. He's shot things for WWE back in the day. He shot stuff for GCW. I hope it's not me breaking kayfabe on this, but like the Janela Sasuke promo, like that was his camera work. Like, nice. And I believe also the Hammerstein announcement was him and Giancarlo putting the thing together.
Okay, like, I knew Giancarlo was all over that, obviously, because he was. But yeah, man, that's really cool.
They're both truly incredibly talented people, and a nicer guy you really couldn't ask for. Yeah. Dom had filmed a Romeo and Juliet short film with me in like 2012, and we just talked wrestling after, and I was like, I gotta keep this guy in my Rolodex. I gotta work with him at some point. But we're shooting on stuff that's like a red camera, which is the type of camera you'd use to shoot the Avengers on, or something of like that quality, because I don't think pro wrestling has necessarily been captured in that cinematic light.
No, not often. And I have a film and video production degree. That's what I went to school for. So that's why I really was drawn to your project, I think, is because I was like, oh, this is something that like speaks to me as like somebody had a production, like I said, video and film production degree. Because it was just like the project, just like I said, spoke to me, and it looks really good. Like I said, you could just tell with the camera work that it's not amateur hour shit. Like you guys did a really, 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 really good job, man. So
thanks, dude.
Yeah, everybody
I
should keep an eye for that. Yeah, man. And well, shit, we'll close up here in a second. Let's just talk shop about us. What we got going on, man? We're gonna hang out, I guess, in a couple weeks, man. So maybe we'll have some more stuff we can film in New York together for this.
Please. I would fucking love it. Yeah, I mean, the Hammerstein show is going to be really amazing. Hey, Cass, if you're trying to get me to come down to Orlando and Atlanta, any world where I can get your ass up for the 15th and you just stick around, hang out in
Hey,
Central Park till the Hammerstein show after?
I can't because I've got to do a couple things. Well, that's a month because like that's March, not
Oh,
February. So
right.
like yeah,
Oh,
so we've got a
right.
whole month of gap there. And in
Right.
February, I got a bunch. I got Nashville AEW show in Nashville. I've got this dude starting this weekend. I'm nonstop through Hammerstein week. The weekend. I think I've got Battle for the Belts this weekend, then Dynamite in Raleigh next Wednesday, and then Zicky Dice's Outlandish Paradise event or whatever it's called on Friday night, the 15th. Terminus on the 16th. And then I fly out for fucking Hammerstein weekend 5 days after that. So
You're going to fall over and fucking die.
every time you see me, I'm like nonstop for a month straight. I'm just like, where am I? What time? What time are we in?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll have a month in between. But yeah, dude, like I'll have a spot. I'll be down there for Revolution. I've got the Rampage. I got immediate for the Rampage, immediate for the Scrum. I'm off punishment, bro. I'm not grounded anymore.
You
put our feud to bed.
Nice. Everything's good.
We put our feud to bed. We buried that feud, so we're good. So I'll be there for that, and then like I said, I'll have a hotel in Atlanta or something. My family lives there, if nothing else. So if you want to just tag along into Atlanta for GCW the next weekend, we'll be there, and all our boys are there.
Yeah,
we'll hang out with the gang. So
yeah. It's fucking tempting.
Yeah, okay. And you'll really be tempted after we hang out in a couple of weeks for at Hammerstein too. Are you going to do the Hall of Fame? You know,
I think so. I'm going to try to. I gotta talk to the crew and just see.
Let me know
what can
your
happen.
plans on that, because tentatively I had heard I had a table, but now he wasn't sure if he was going anymore and what the deal was with that. So I might be up for finding a new spot on.
We'll figure it out, man. I mean, like, you and I have a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline, and like, listen, this Catalyst Wrestling show, like, our production team, the owners that I mentioned before, our roster, we're gonna put out a banger. And it's not going to be like our last banger. We will have more, and I intend for them to be in New York, amongst other places. So, I'll be coming back on. We can keep talking about stuff. And
talking. And I'm going to make sure you help me, as you're going to be videoing some Chops, I think, for me. Some Chops episodes again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I don't have any in the can. COVID kind of got in the way again. I was supposed to go film some a couple weeks ago in Greensboro, and some people canceled because they made promises to their families or something about the bubble, not not breaking quarantine and just getting in and getting out because they were worried. So I was like, all right, that's understandable. So
yeah,
things bailed. So I don't have any episodes until I get to some shows. So we got to make sure we crank out a bunch in the next couple of weeks.
COVID's a very real thing. I mean, I can say that with New York being what it is and what it's gone through and what it is going through presently. But I'll also throw in there, just for anyone who wants to come see the show, proof of vax will be required at the door, as it is New York and it's a good idea. And then secondarily, we'll be doing thermometer checks of every forehead just to make sure no one's coming in symptomatic, fevery, stuff like that. And everyone inside who is not a wrestler or me or the ref will be masked up. So,
that's awesome, man. Very responsible of you guys, because a lot of people are really concerned about that right now, and that keeps a lot of people from going out and to enjoying some events. And if you're taking the proper precautions, is above and beyond, like it seems like you are, then people should maybe not worry as much, and maybe you'll have a better chance getting some people.
Well, that's the hope, honestly. And if I'm going to preach the value of community in wrestling, you got to take care of the community. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the best way we can go about it, is be providing great wrestling, be bringing in really cool people, do something different, and also make sure everybody's safe to the best degree that we can. So, it'll be a safe banger. So come through.
Well, buddy, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about everything, man. I love sitting down and chatting with you, and we'll
definitely
do this again soon.
We'll do it more.
When you got more coming out, man, we'll coordinate with some more of these so we can get some news that I know about, that I know you got planned, and we'll do some more presentation for that, man. I'm looking forward to it, buddy.
Yeah, so, I may be scheming, baby. That's good.
Yeah. Well, Brendan, tell everybody where they can find you. Push all your socials, and
my handle is down here. It's the same on everything. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also feel free to hit me up. Like, let me know if you're going to be coming to the shows. I'm ring announcing, so I'd love to say hi. And yeah, as we're coming out with stuff, you'll be hearing from me probably with this goon over here. Does this read? No, that's the opposite direction.
Oh, I did it too, man. I'm always doing it.
Ah!
Yeah, it's reversed. We're backwards.
Man,
We're in a bizarre world.
Yeah, craziness.
But,
up is down, blacks, whites, cat and dogs living together.
But yeah, man, everybody can keep Body Slam covers, all of Catalyst stuff. We've been trying to do that for the last couple months. So,
yeah, super appreciate it.
No, we appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys giving us that opportunity. So, that's the spot for everybody to go to keep up with what's happening with Catalyst Wrestling. You can check bodyslam.net for that. We'll have press releases, results coverage, and probably a bunch of exclusive stuff that we're going to have in the works between the two of us. So yeah, everybody keep an eye out for that. Make sure you guys give Brendan a follow, man. He's a good buddy of mine. I hope everybody checks out his work. I'm really excited about what you got going on, man. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this. You guys can follow me right down here on Twitter and social media at Casshole with 3 O's, HOOOLE. Follow bodyslam.net as well on social media. We've got tons of good podcasts, exclusive interviews, web series, and stuff like that for you guys on YouTube that we have dropping pretty much daily and multiple times a day. We have stuff being released. Everything is almost always available on all your audio platforms as well. iTunes, or just say iTunes anymore, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever the fuck it's called. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox,
Stitcher.
Everything. Stitcher, I'm not sure if we're on Stitcher. We're on 10 platforms. And then if you can't find us on the one that you use and you're looking for, just hit me up right here on this little thing and tell me you want me on this one, and I'll put you on there for you guys. So we appreciate everything you do. You can also, we would always appreciate if you feel like donating to help the cause at bodyslam.net. Check out slamchats.com. That gives us a little bit of more take from many of the donations than other options that are out there. But we really appreciate everything you guys do for us. And Brandon, thanks again, man. Look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, buddy. All right, guys.
See you in a few weeks, brother. Peace.